Do 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 5 hours in. Hello everybody and welcome to 5 hours in, where we play a game for 5 hours and talk about it for 5 minutes. I'm Chase and I've been playing The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, specifically the Virtual Console release for Wii U. First, a little backstory. Before now I'd only played one Zelda game, which was Wind Waker HD. I was hanging out with my friend Joe, who is a huge Zelda fanatic, and we decided that I would finally play Ocarina of Time and that he would coach me through it so that we could get as far in the game as possible during our 5-hour time limit. So we played for 2.5 hours, took a break, and then did the other 2.5 hours a week later. I'm gonna spare you my in-depth play-by-play because, let's be honest here, you probably already know what happens in Ocarina of Time, which I will mention later. So when we hit 5 hours, Zelda had gotten all of the spiritual stones, opened the door of time, and jumped 7 years into the future with the Master Sword. And yes, I said Zelda, because I named Link Zelda in my game, which led to some pretty hilarious conversations when the Princess Zelda would talk to the hero Zelda. So now that I've played about half of Ocarina of Time, let me start by saying that it still controls pretty well. After playing Wind Waker HD, I found that Link didn't really control all that differently after all of this time. There was one exception though. I think Z-targeting is kinda hard to pull off in Ocarina of Time. I'd be fighting the boss of Jabu Jabu's belly with the entire thing standing in front of me with multiple things that could be Z-targeted. Press Z, or ZR, which is what I had set Z to, and still not lock onto any of it. And there was one bat in Dodongo's cavern that hit me 3 times because the game would not target it before it hit me. I also had some trouble using the Wii U gamepad's right thumbstick as the C buttons. Most of the time they were okay, but there were enough times where they didn't work right, especially when playing Ocarina songs, that I felt it was worth mentioning. But Ocarina still provides a very strong gameplay experience overall. In terms of story though, I think Ocarina is charming but ultimately hasn't aged very well. It's a little hard in this day and age to get attached to characters when they just look like puppets with faces drawn on them, especially when you already know basically everything that's going to happen. The fact that unlocking the Temple of Time actually aided Ganondorf was probably a huge surprise and a fantastic plot twist back in the day, but now that Ocarina's plot is so common knowledge, it's a little like an inevitability. It's like, oh, I know I need to get the spiritual stones to unlock the Door of Time, but all that's gonna do is let Ganondorf get in there and mess up everything. But I have to do it because that's how I progress. So I guess, congrats Ganon. And I assume I'll have the same feeling with the reveal that Sheik is Zelda in disguise. I think that Ocarina's plot is charming, yeah, but I also think that Wind Waker's plot is even more charming, and that Wind Waker Link has more motivation and personality than Ocarina Link by far. So, I felt Ocarina's story hasn't aged well, and since it's spent so much time on it and focused on it and the cinematic elements of the game so much, I feel like Wind Waker HD is a better game as a whole. Also, side note, I can't stand Kaepora Gaebora, because he talks for so long and really doesn't say anything all that important. But while I do think I like Wind Waker more, that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying my journey through Ocarina of Time. The game's really fun to play, and it's especially fun getting to play it with one of my friends guiding me. But I think that it hasn't exactly aged flawlessly. Ocarina of Time did a lot of things right for taking the Zelda series into 3D, and its significance will definitely not go unnoticed, and definitely has not gone unnoticed. But I think that at this point I would not say it's one of the best games of all time, or even my favorite of the 2 Zelda games that I've played. Do I recommend it? Of course I do. Despite not being the best game of all time in my eyes, that doesn't change how significant the game was, and how fun it is. I will say though, if you're going to play Ocarina of Time now, play the updated version on 3DS, or go full out and get an N64 copy, because dealing with a control stick for the C buttons is really not optimal. All in all, I'm really excited to hang out with Joe again so we can finally finish Ocarina of Time, free from the restraints of needing to get 5 hours in. So that's my thoughts on Ocarina of Time. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Now play me out, me. Do 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 do. This is our Slate song.